Go.
All right, when I get in my seat, the first thing I want to do is put on my seat belt and adjust my mirrors. Also, I'm going to allow my air pressure to build back up between 100 to 125 psi. While I'm allowing my air pressure to build back up, I'm going to check my city horn, my highway horn, my interior lights inside the bus, and my clearance lights on the outside of the bus. I'm going to make sure that my door opens and closes properly. I want to check my left turn signal, my right turn signals, my four-way flashers, my headlights, and my high beam lights. I also have a 26-inch steering wheel, and I should not have no more than 2-inch play from left to right. I want to make sure that my accelerator and my brake pedal is not sticking. The thing I want to check is my gauges. My fuel gauge is working properly. My volt gauge is reading between 12 to 14 volts. My RPM would move, my MPH would move once the bus starts moving. My RPM is working properly. My water temperature is between 100 to 170 degrees Fahrenheit. My transmission fluid is between 100 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And now I'm going to perform what is called an air leakage test. I'm going to do that by turning my bus off, turning the key back on, pressing in my parking brakes, and placing my foot on the service brakes for 1 minute, at which time I should not lose no more than 3 psi. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I have not lost no more than 3 psi. That is an indication that there is no leakage in my airlines. Next thing I'm going to begin to do is to begin to fan my brakes, and I'm checking for my emergency light and buzzer to come on once the pressure in my tank drop below 60 psi. After my warning light and buzzer come on at 60 psi, I'm going to continue fanning, and at around 30 psi or below, my parking brake valve should pop back out. Okay, I'm at 60 psi. My warning light and buzzer came on. I'm going to continue fanning, and at around 30 psi, my parking brake valve just popped back out. Now I know that my warning light and buzzer so far is working properly. Now I'm going to start my vehicle back up. I'm going to let the air pressure in my tanks build back up between 100 to 125 psi. I'm going to put my foot on the the gas pedal to accelerate it, and at around 60 psi, my warning light and buzzer should go off. All right, at 60 psi, my warning light and buzzer both went off. Now I know that my warning light and buzzer is both working properly. I'm going to continue to charge my air compressor and governor, and at around 100 to 125 psi, my air compressor and governor is going to kick in, letting me know that my air tanks are full. My air compressor and governor just kicked in, letting me know that I have a full tank of air pressure. Now I'm going to perform what is called my service brake test. I'm going to do that by placing my foot on the service brake, putting my vehicle into drive, pushing in my parking brakes, let my vehicle roll forward about 5 or 10 feet, and smoothly bring my bus to a stop. My service brakes are working properly. Now I'm going to secure my vehicle by putting it back in neutral, putting out my parking brakes. Now I'm going to perform what is called a parking brake test. I do that by putting my foot on my service brakes, putting my bus in drive, taking my foot off my service brakes, applying it to my accelerator, and my bus should not move nor lean to the left or to the right. I'm going to put my bus back in neutral. It's already secured, and now I know that I have no leakage in my airlines, and I know that my service brakes and parking brakes are both working properly, and that concludes my pre-trip inspection. You stop it.